In 1972, 30,000 children and their parents gathered in Washington, D.C. to protest President Nixon. It was the largest predominantly black march on Washington since Martin Luther King's, and their demand was that the federal government recognize the dignity and rights of American children. But today, if you Google Children's March, you're not even gonna find a Wikipedia page on it. And that's part of a broader problem, right? We don't really talk about children's rights in this country. For example, the United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child, it's the most widely adopted human rights treaty in history. 195 countries except the United States. But it didn't always used to be this way, and as I found in my thesis, the US used to be a leader on this issue. And it all began with a little-known federal agency called the Children's Bureau. And as I found in my thesis, there were a significant amount of women who contributed heavily to building a distinct American dialect of children's rights. So what did I do? I went to the archives. I spent months in Schlesinger Library digging through memos, letters, protest artifacts. It was a very tedious summer. But what I found was an incredible story in 3 parts. First, after World War II, Bureau leaders like Martha May Elliott worked with groups like UNICEF to bring international ideas on children's rights back home. But it was the Cold War, so they had to be careful. And they wrapped rights in an American flag. They used the rhetoric of freedom, individualism, family values. And then in the 1960s, everything changed. The civil rights movement made it easier to talk about helping all children, not just some. Presidents like Kennedy, seen here with Bureau Chief Catherine Oettinger, spent way more on child welfare and vaccines, and the Bureau spoke directly to families through television, and children's rights became part of federal discourse. But this golden age didn't last, and in 1969, Nixon dismantled the Bureau. 93% of the staff was fired. And my last chapter is trying to pick up the pieces of how activists, especially Black mothers and lawyers, try to keep the movement alive. But after that moment, federal leadership truly faded, and today we're seeing eerie echoes from the past. Agencies being dismantled, childhood vaccines being questioned, parents' rights being politicized. And I think above all, my thesis reminds us what it once meant for institutions to care about children and what it would mean to lead with moral clarity once again. Thank you.